Please remember that all the opinions in the show are those of the host and should only be taken as food for thought. We're in no way telling you to do anything. Everything is kept anonymous for the safety of the listeners and no information is shared to anyone else. If you are easily offended by people's opinions or views, then thank you for making it this far, but this is not the podcast for you. So see you later. And please enjoy the rest of the show. Welcome everyone to another episode of Two Men Always Sick. That's what the new show is going to be called, because I feel like we're like menstruating together or something, because whenever you get sick, I'm sick as well.
Yeah, it's like, do you know when like a load of women live together?
Yeah, exactly like that, yeah. So like next time one of us gets ill, just text and just go, "Are you sick?" and see what happens as a test.
Like we're synchronized. Do you know what? If that was the intro to anyone's first ever listen to this show, they'll be like, chauvinist, because obviously we always get mislabeled because it says two men in our fucking label for the show. They'll be like, chauvinist bastards is exactly what I thought it was, and off they click, mate.
I was laughing. So I don't know if everyone notices, but we're trying to get back into
the swing of things.
Yeah, of like social media and stuff like that. And Riverside, the program that we use to record all of this stuff, you're able to have AI make mini clips, which is what we've been using because we're both so busy and we need to get back into the thing. And so you just click the button and it breaks clips up, and AI puts together whether it thinks it's interesting or funny, whatever that, and then it gives it a title. And can I get the full title up of this, or is it just gonna? So I did it for the last episode, and one of the titles is Dan's shocking observation about the next sale. When you click on it, it's like it's like the most racist thing. And like, if you listen to the episode, it's not as bad as it sounds. But like the AI's
context,
yeah, the AI's like cut it out, and it's named it shocking observation. And I'm just like, if you ever go to the next sale, they're everywhere. Like,
sounds like a 90-year-old man.
It was like, I was like, wow, that's really bad. I'm like, I really hope. I'm glad I didn't do that.
That was heavily edited in the last episode for the listeners that don't know what we're talking about.
Did you actually cut that out?
I did some censoring, yeah. No, not fully, but I cut out 55% of it.
Oh, okay, that's all right then. If anyone missed that, by the way, this is what happened. It's so bad. Like, nothing I said in that was like it wasn't racist at all. It was an observation, right? I wasn't being like, everyone knows that. Like, if you go there, you see it. But when you hear it, it doesn't. It's like the opposite. It's so weird to be like, I get it a little bit now.
Yourself on the back foot, yeah.
You're like, I get where people can be a little bit annoyed by shit like that. But yeah, how are you doing anyway?
I'm good. Busy. Like I was just saying to you before this, I cannot wait to be going back to like Monday to work, Friday normal working, because working the weekends obviously has been shit for the last 2 years. But then finding myself at a point where I'm having to like, I'm always in a rush at the weekend, so I'll be like working, and then I'm like on Saturday, because I want to get home in time for the dog and stuff, I'm like just popping into Tesco's to pick up something for dinner.
Yeah.
And I'm in Tesco's and I'm just like, all of these people are at work Monday to Friday, or they're fucking not got jobs at all. Why are they in the shop at fucking 7 o'clock on a Saturday night? Why are these people in the fucking shop with me? Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I thought to myself, I'll go on a Tuesday this week because I was off Tuesday. I was like, I'll go during the day to do a few bits. And it's dead. There's no one there. But I know for a fact there's Benefit Britain fuckers in there with me on Saturday. So why are all these people who haven't got fucking jobs not there on Tuesday? Why are they there on Saturday? As though they've got jobs during the week. And I was just fucking fuming. I literally, on Saturday, wanted to spend 5 minutes in the shop, grab our stuff and leave. I'm there for 25 minutes between queuing, getting around people, and fucking actually getting to the till and all that stuff. I'm there for like 25 minutes. I don't want to be spending 25 minutes after a 12-hour shift walking about in this fucking shop because everyone decides they want to go on a Saturday. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking, that's why I love going to Lidl, because they're quoted on like how many people they get through the tills. It's even better in like Czech and Germany. At the end of their tills, they have two sides. So like you go through, they slide your stuff down one side, and then while you're packing it, they're sliding someone else's stuff down the other side. So, so it seems really fucking rude because you're like, hang on a minute, I ain't packed yet. But you're like, fuck, this is quality. Like 8 people are done in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and
Just
that's all you
fucking
need, isn't
down
it?
your
It's like
side.
it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when it's like in an aeroplane thing when you're going through an airport, and there's like they just send keep sending it down in it, and then all these idiots can just pick their trays up and fucking be an idiot somewhere else. Do you know what I mean?
I fucking don't. That's what I used to do, man. I used to fucking hate that job.
But what really gets to me is that I can't. I'm starting to forget a time when there wasn't self service tills.
I love self-service tills.
But can you? It must. It's well over 10 years, isn't it? Probably even 15, nearly 20 years. We've had self service tills since the early 2000s.
Yeah, I think Asda.
Why are people still not figured them out, bruv? Why have they still not figured them out in 20 years?
Did I tell you about the fucking quality self-service tills I used in Edinburgh when I went with Mum and Sabina and that?
No.
Seriously, right? This is fucking futuristic shit, yeah? It was a clothing shop. I can't remember which one it is. I've never heard it before. You literally go up to the till and there's a bucket, right?
Yeah.
Mum had like 3 or 4 different items. I can't remember, it was t-shirts, socks and stuff like that. She literally just threw them all into this bucket, didn't scan nothing. They till brought them all up.
That's what I
How
mean.
mental is that? How the fuck did it know what each of
AI.
them items were? That's crazy as fuck, man.
They've got similar things in like big stadiums and stuff for like when you say if you go and buy like a load of hot dogs or whatever,
Mm.
you go in, you pick up the stuff, you don't scan anything, but you walk out with it, but it knows what you've and it will charge you for what you've taken.
That's fucking crazy, man. I know like China and that do. Japan, they have a lot of like no people like supermarket, and because Amazon have got one over there, haven't they?
So the self-service till, yeah. Guess when that come out?
Oh, God knows.
Very first one.
2012.
Way off. 1984 was the very first one.
What?
Yeah, and then the
I
prototype.
hadn't seen a service till.
Yeah, but this would probably be like one in some futuristic shop back then, isn't it?
Well, I suppose.
And then they came into high production in the early 2000s and became part of around 2013. So you weren't far off there.
Yeah, because
2013
like
they
I
became
said,
popular in the worldwide market.
I remember the first ones we ever really saw was in Asda, because I remember us working in and going like, "That's our jobs going. They're just going to get rid of all the tills and it's just going to be self-service."
Mate,
Like most people do with new technology.
honestly, so that's what 11 years now, 2024, and I'm still standing at the tills waiting for people because they can't figure out how to weigh items and how and like why are they so thick? Why are people just so thick? And I'm just like spend your fucking Tuesday morning doing this. Don't be in here when I'm supposed to be in here trying to get stuff done after I worked all day. And you can see they haven't fucking bathed in 3 days, so these fuckers ain't got jobs. You know what I mean? Just thinking, fuck's sake, man.
Mate, like I went to Sainsbury's today after work,
Mm,
and I've already got no patience because I've been at work all day. And
yeah.
there's always this
Social batteries at zero.
yeah. And there's always this homeless person out front of Sainsbury's, like always. And like the Sainsbury's I stop at is in like a small village on the way home. So I'm like, where the fuck have you come from? Like, why are you in this town? Because obviously she's got off a bus from her house and fucking. But obviously, I'm miles away trying to think of what I'm doing. She goes, "Oh, isn't it cold?" And I just instinctively went, "We shouldn't be sitting on the fucking floor then, should you?" And walked off. And I thought myself, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. It just come out. I don't know, like I wasn't even paying attention. Oh, it's cold out here. Well, you're sitting on the fucking floor outside, yeah. I was like, oh, shit.
That
So like
reminds
when I
me
come
of
out, I quickly fucking my hand over my face.
ran past.
Yeah. I was like, I hope she's fucking her legs are seized up from the cold. She can't chase me.
When
Oh,
I
it's
was in
horrible, man.
it was last summer, I think. There was a homeless guy that hangs around. Do you know Jarman Park Tesco's the big one?
Yeah,
That's obviously opposite the cinema and stuff, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
There was a guy terrorizing people there for like 6 months. He was a homeless dude, and he would like when people go into their cars, he would like ask them for change and would pester them at their car going back. And obviously, like girls would feel like a bit under pressure, so they'd give him the money.
Fucking hell.
And I remember he come and tried to do it with me, and this was like midsummer. I was fucking sweating, yeah, like the opposite to what I was today when I was freezing my arse off. And I just remember I was standing there in dirty shorts, dirty thing, because we'd been doing the garden up. And I was stinking of like BO and fucking. I shouldn't even have been in public. Do you know when you're just in one of them states that you don't want anyone to see you? And he's looking at me, and I looked at him, and I thought, if you ask me for change, and I just started mad dogging him, I was like, if you fucking come near me, bro,
Give me an excuse. Give me an excuse.
give me an excuse to be a Netflix documentary right now. And he just looked at me, and he just put his head down and carried on walking, and went over to the next person. I was like, you fucking know it, you fucking little tramp.
He probably could smell you. He's like, holy fuck, is that coming from
He's
him?
probably worse off than me. He's thinking,
Oh man, I was sitting here watching The Patriot. I'm going to talk about that in a second.
yeah,
Having dinner. All of a sudden, there's a massive fucking bang, and my house goes black. And then I just see a little fucking ember come off of the ceiling,
oh
and
shit,
one of my light bulbs had popped.
yeah, and it
But
blew
I've
the
never
electric.
like, but I've like, yeah, it did yeah. But they're the light bulbs where they've got like the thick filament in the middle.
Yeah,
I've never seen a fucking piece of ember come out of a fucking light bulb and fly. Like, it freaked me out because I thought it was
yeah,
going to
it
set
does.
fire to
Yeah.
something. Holy shit, man! I've never jumped so much in my fucking life.
My light in the summer house did that, innit? When I was working out once, it shat me up big time.
They're fucking, that's mental, man. They're expensive as well. They were like Next light bulbs.
Mm.
I ain't buying them again. I'm just gonna go to fucking B&M or Home Bargains and get a box of 20 or something.
I was
Fuck
going to
that.
say to you, actually, that reminds me, you saying you watched the film. I watched The Substance.
But yeah, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I really did. I thought it was a good take on modern vanity in like Hollywood. But
Mm.
there was a point in it where I feel like spoilers for those that haven't watched it yet. But I feel like so basically, there's like a
I know what
younger and
you're
an
gonna
older
say.
version. Is it the
Yeah,
tit?
which tit? There's a lot of tits in that.
So basically, the younger and the old version go at it, don't they? They don't. Basically, the old woman, oh, what's her name? Demi Moore wants to
Demi
become
Moore.
young. She then signs up to this like almost like a cloning thing, and essentially gives birth to like a younger, better version of herself out of her back, which is like fucking a thing I wasn't expecting to happen, which just happened in a pretty
Mm.
dank looking bathroom that she just left herself on the floor for 2 weeks, which I just thought was a bit weird anyway. But anyway, that was the first little bit I was thinking that's a bit much. And then so they go back and forth, and obviously the younger version naturally wants to stay out because they can only do 7 days each.
Yeah.
So she then starts siphoning like out of the older one's spine to give herself extra days, and she was stealing her life force essentially. So Demi Moore essentially just become more and more like this fucking monster.
Yeah.
And then they end up having this big fight, and then some weird thing happens where they end up both being awake at the same time, which I just thought was insane. I couldn't really figure that bit out. I don't even think the filmmaker figured it out because they just didn't really say nothing about it.
It's
And
more. It's
then,
like her trying to realize that it's not about vanity, but then panics, and then it's like coming to grips with like seeing yourself, sort of. Yeah.
yeah,
It's all like
reflection.
indie artists, bollocks.
Yeah. And the younger version kills the older version, but then has a panic then that she can't fucking carry on because she starts like falling apart because naturally she hasn't got the other side of her. So then she starts like decaying essentially. And so then she then decides, the younger version then decides to do the fucking the drug thing again that she's told to only do once. And I said to Charlotte when she was injecting herself, I was like, Charlotte, what happens to a clone of a clone in every clone film?
Yeah.
It's fucked when it comes out. So
That's when it should have stopped, right? I reckon they should have had the fight and
stopped it
then
there.
she killed her, yeah, and then that would have been perfect. They fought each other, one died, and then it just sort of like, what happened to her? That
Yeah,
would be
that
good to
would have
me.
been a better. But they carried on. Yeah.
Yeah,
To what I can only describe as the next few scenes as like a Terrifier level gore going
yeah.
on, and then
Pointless crap.
she's on stage, so she's become this monster that's got like heads coming out of her, and she's like a big fucking. She looks like the Thing from the Thing film, and then she's on stage and she's talking. She's started to do her speech, and just a random tit just comes out of her fucking head. Just one singular tit on a string, like on an umbilical cord. And I said
Yeah,
to Charlotte, I said, there's no need for the tit. There's literally no need for the fucking tit at all. I said, we're watching her falling apart on stage as this grotesque monster. And then they just push it even further, and a singular tit just flies out of her body and lands on the floor. And
yeah. No, I
then
didn't.
she starts breaking down after that and just like starts squirting like unbelievable amounts of blood into the air. Which I was
Yeah,
just like, I was just like saying to Charlotte, there's no way she's reproducing this blood. I was like, this has just gone so far. Like, it's far fetched anyway, the film, but
yeah.
it was fucking mental. And I was
See,
like, what a way to end the film.
thinking actually, the ending I would have liked is if they fought and she killed the original, and then she goes to the thing and she starts falling apart like she does, because you're like, okay, that makes sense. She's like deteriorating, and then as she leaves and she's running, it then cuts to the bit where the monster falls and explodes and dies on the star.
Yeah.
That would have been good. So she's pretty and she's falling apart, and then she falls, and then she just goes, bleh, and it ends,
And
and
it,
you're
yeah,
like,
and she becomes like a mush on
just a
the
pool
floor.
of shit. Yeah, that would have made me. Yeah, that whole. I said to you, I was like, I wasn't sure whether you liked it because it was quite strange, but I knew I didn't like the last 20 minutes. It was fucking stupid.
I liked. I can deal with them films when they're modern. I think when a film's that over the top and it's like in the '90s era, I think
Hmm.
the level of prosthetics can't keep up with what they're trying to portray. But that was just fucking mental at the end, and I was just like, Dennis Quaid as well. It's
I
Dennis
love
Quaid,
Dennis
isn't it?
Quaid. Yeah, yeah.
When he's eating the prawns, I almost turned the film off.
Such a good scene.
I almost turned the film off. I was like, Charlotte, it's making me feel sick. It's
That was
genuinely making
so
me feel
good.
sick. Because we watched Smile 2 and then we watched that straight after.
I
And
really
I was
like
just
Smile too.
like, yeah, Smile 2 is really good. But I was like, I wasn't thinking much of it. And then it did keep me hooked. So it's worth a watch. But be
Yeah,
prepared.
so I wanted to say I watched The Patriot. I've never seen it before, and I was like, oh fuck it, I'll stick it on.
I don't know what the Patriot is. Is that?
It's Mel Gibson. It's basically Braveheart, but it's about when the Americans were fighting the English,
Oh, right,
like the
right. The
Civil
red
War and all
coats
that
and
stuff.
that.
Yeah, the red coats and that. Yeah. Um.
Which we
So
know
I'm not.
nothing about. But the
Yeah, yeah.
Americans
So
know
this is what I'm
everything
going to get
about.
at, right? This is what I'm going to get at. So I know nothing about history, and everyone's going to, if whoever's listening, and all the Americans and Davids are going to go mental. There was all these scenes of like the blue and the red marching out into the field, looking at each other, and then firing their muskets and just standing there. And then the other side would then fire back while they're reloading and just
Mm,
stand there. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not running? Why are you not ducking? You're just is that how it was back then? Is that how? Because obviously I know muskets have one round, the pistols were had one round. That was the way it.
mm.
But who just marches into a field and stares at the other person and just fires and then reloads? Like, you're not taking cover.
Oh, what?
It
They weren't
baffled
moving
me.
forward or nothing.
No, they literally stood in a line opposite each other, and the first one be like fire. A load of people get killed. Then they got to take out all their fucking the black powder, pack it all in. Then the other team, the other side, they fire. load of people get hit and shot, and everyone's still standing there. And then it's not until one person gets the upper hand that they're then like, "Holy shit, let's retreat."
Oh, really? I always thought
I'm
it was
like,
like they charged.
they only charge. Well, they didn't really charge until the last fucking scene. But is that how it went? It was just a mutual like, let's see who dies first. Like, let's just walk out into the fucking open, and there's no strategy in that.
Even in World War II, there was no strategy, though, when you think about it. They were just sent straight out of the trench and ran straight towards them.
Yeah, but at least they had
Getting
more than
fired
one
on by
bullet,
machine
and then they
guns.
laid down. And seriously, it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed watching it. Like I said, it's Braveheart, but Americans with guns. But like, that couldn't have like. It just baffled me. I'm like, why are you standing there and taking it? Like, it doesn't make any
I have to
sense to
give it a
me.
watch. I've never watched it. Normally, when I've seen stuff about the Civil War more than the war with us. And with the Civil War stuff, they were always charging at each other. So
Yeah, no,
maybe it was a change in tactics back in the day.
God knows. I don't know. Like, I just couldn't get my head around it. I was just standing there going, like, even like when they're pulling their guns out, you'd be like, right, I'm gonna duck because they're aiming at my face. I'm just gonna duck. No, they just literally just stood there and just faced it head on.
Mate,
Like,
I
there
would
was
not be
nothing.
standing still. I'd be running I would be running like the clappers towards them.
Like,
See
I
it.
wish I could find a clip to send you just so on the podcast you could see what I'm talking about, because I just can't. I wonder if there'd be clips of it on TikTok. Oh, look, the final battle. But it's just the way they just march out and they've got like their flags or whatever. And then here, look, here's a bit of it here. Yeah, this will show you what I'm talking about. How have I spent money and I've been at home? Hate when you get Barclays fucking messages and you're just like, what? Did that save? Did that save?
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
shit me
definitely
up
save.
about that. And I accidentally nearly bought at the weekend. I nearly bought a UFC years pass, which is like fucking £200 or something.
Why would
I
you do
ne-
that?
I nearly bought it by accident because I went to click on for a free trial, and when I went to click the free trial, it was like, oh, and you sign up for a year's contract. It's 219 quid or something. I was like, what? Yeah, like marching.
Yes, they just march out. Nice, like there's explosions, people firing cannons. So they're not just marching out to nothing. There's cannons being fired as well, and then they stop at a certain distance from each other, and then they just take turns. There was a big cast in it as well. Actually, I didn't. Heath Ledger's in it. Yeah, yeah. He's young. Like, I don't know. He must have been one of his first movies. But like, I just can't. Like I said, all the Americans. I'm sure that's how we did it as well. But this, I'm just seeing. That's what I've seen in the movie.
Well, the English are the redcoats, isn't it? So we are doing it.
Yeah, yeah. But you see what I mean? Where they're like, now you fire. And they're just standing there, like, reloading.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that they're standing there.
And then they're like, well, I've
Because
reloaded now. I'm
when I
going to
was
fire
watching
back.
Black Sails, that's similar era,
Yeah.
and they weren't doing shit like that. They were fucking the cavalry's up in the trees.
Like, when was serpentine introduced into the army, right? Like, zigzagging. Like, is that not a thing at the minute? Like, you've got one bullet. Am I not going to move around?
Well, if you think
Doesn't
about
hit
it,
me.
they didn't really change their tactics up. So when we had like fucking axes and shields and shit, we were doing that same shit.
Just standing there.
They're just fronting off each other, and then like whoever chooses to charge at a certain time charges. When the cavalry turns up on the horses, they turn up and all that shit. So they didn't really change their tactics too much. They just introduced guns into it.
Yeah, pretty
So
much. Yeah.
literally just the invention of the gun. I think
Crack
what
me up.
changed the big tactics was the fact that machine guns were just mowing people down in like World War One, so they had to figure out some other way around it.
Well, yeah, fucking hell. That's nightmare. Yeah, I can believe it. But I hope no one watched the fucking Jake Paul Tyson fight, that con artist piece of shit. What a scam. What a fucking scam.
Do you know what I found out after as well? I found it out a couple of days after I thought to speak to you about is Tyson was paid per round in like a
Yeah.
sliding scale. So he was paid to. Firstly, I think Jake could have finished it at any point because Tyson was fucking gassed out.
No, he
But
was pissed off. Like, he was just like, what's the point?
nah, he was
Because you
gassed
could
out, man.
see,
He was
if you
fumbling
watch
around.
it, there's so many points where he goes to punch because Jake Paul's useless and keeps his face open, and he
Mm.
stops himself because he's like, "Can't if I knock him out, I'm not going to get any money."
Yeah, because I don't think there was a script as regards to who was going to win it. I think there was a script to go in the long haul, doing all of the rounds to get the most amount of money. And that's what they both did. They both decided on doing that, and then that's why they both laid off each other. But at one point, Tyson he stopped throwing punches from about round two.
Yeah,
He was
because why
too
would
gassed
you?
out. He
Once
was
you've seen the amount of openings that Jake left, and then you're like, I can't even hit him. Like, what's the fucking? Have you seen the clip of this little girl that goes to Mike Tyson like, what do you want your legacy to be?
mm,
Have you seen that clip?
yeah.
And he's like, you die. He's like, I don't give a fuck what people like.
Nah, he did it for his kids, didn't he? He got his
Yeah, yeah.
payday.
So like, I have no grievance against Mike Tyson in this fight, right? He's got him out $20 million and just stood in
And
a
that's what
ring
we
with
know
this.
about.
Yeah, yeah, with this dickhead who he probably could have taken 100 punches from Jake and just stood there because he wasn't fucking
He
bruised
wasn't
at all when he
moving, but
came on.
I do think Jake would have. I think what would have happened is Jake would have hurt him. If he'd put him down, he would have hurt him because Tyson weren't looking right at all.
Yeah, but he's had some health things. But like Tyson was put on this earth to kill people. Like that's all he's done his entire life. There's no way this fucking ex YouTuber, ex Disney fucking channel reject could have done anything to Mike Tyson. An 80-year-old Mike Tyson, he still wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah,
He's just a con artist.
he's a roided up. He's roided up. He's what 25 years younger or something, maybe even more. He's
He looks like
definitely
such a fucking his hair as well. He looked like an old man standing there, like his like hair was all thin, like he was had like a fucking
because he's been on
comb over. He's just a
Testosterone.
like he has made boxing like wrestling. He's made it fake. He's made it scripted. There's no, and
Yeah,
I feel bad for
that's
them.
why genuine boxers can't touch his side of boxing
No, and I
because
feel
there was
bad for people that generally train and want to be a professional boxer, and then you've got this idiot coming out in a fucking car. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, I want to be the heavyweight champion. It's like, but you're not taking it serious
he's playing
at
it.
all.
He's already said he plays the heel because he knows people think a heel was a wrestling term.
Yeah, he gets from his fucking brother. He's
Yeah,
a clown, an absolute clown. I just want someone to actually knock him out, but he brings so much money. And that's what you can see from all his fights. People are just sort of like, I'm just going to piss about. Like, I just take the money.
well, people proper boxers don't touch that side of it, and there was talks of Daniel Dubois fighting him, and I was like, if Daniel Dubois goes and fights him, he would be stupid to do that because he's now up there after beating AJ to actually have a genuine chance at going for an actual heavyweight championship. Why would you then compromise any of that to then go and get a paycheck? Because
Because
that's all it is. That's why all the UFC fighters go to that side of thing. That's why the Misfits boxing, you've got Tommy Fury fighting an ex UFC fighter. Do you know
oh,
what I
that's
mean?
going to be funny as fuck. Tommy's an idiot as well because he's like, I want to be a boxer. But yeah, he's doing shit like that. Like, he's a fucking.
I think Tommy's management have said to him, "Look, you're not good enough. You are.
Yeah.
He isn't good enough.
No.
He probably at the best he could be like a European like champ, like one of the small belts. And I think Jake could probably do the same. He would probably get a small belt, which is just like a regional champ, which any Tom, Dick, and Harry could get in boxing. Past that, they haven't got the abilities to be like Canelo or like a big name. So the only way for them to get the big money is to chase these stupid fucking cards that are coming out at the minute.
I was laughing because I was watching the interviews with the fella that Tommy's fighting.
Tillman,
And they're
yeah.
like, they were like, if you're coming up to the last round, you're losing. You're actually going to kick him. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to fucking kick the shit out. He's like, I'm just going to roundhouse kick him in the fucking teeth. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, you can take the money off me. I'm just going to kick the shit out of him. I'm like, fair play.
I think what a lot of people forget as well when you get these UFC fighters involved, they've fucking got a screw loose. Most of them
Yeah.
have got a screw loose. They're not
Yeah.
normal fighters. These
He
guys
said
are
that
like,
as well.
Yeah, they're like fucking crazy. Kimbo Slice was in the UFC for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean?
He said he's like, I'm not doing it for the money. He's like, I just like hurting people. Tommy's such a
It was like, you've got the brain of a loaf of bread. You've got the brain capacity of a
yeah,
loaf of
that's it.
bread.
Yeah.
That fucking cracked me up. And he's calling John Fury Little John, and that was fucking having me in stitches as well.
The whole fucking thing was brilliant. I might actually watch that one. Yeah, I didn't touch the fucking. I went and saw Gladiator 3, which is Gladiator 3, 2, which is really good, by the way.
I watched the Jake Paul thing because obviously I was awake for work, so it was on at 4 a.m.
Nah, just would have annoyed me. Please remember that all the opinions in the show are those of the host and should only be taken as food for thought. We're in no way telling you to do anything. Everything is kept anonymous for the safety of the listeners and no information shared to anyone else. If you're easily offended by people's opinions or views, and thank you for making it this far, but this is not the podcast for you, so see you later. Please enjoy the rest of the show. Remember, our merch is live. Christmas is coming up. People might like a little t-shirt, a hat, or anything like that. Go to our beacons, and you also find a 20% off Essence Vault, which is also good for Christmas. Ugh.
Links are on all our socials.
They are indeed. I thought I was going to sneeze in. It's like right in the canal. Hi! I've really got into a routine of picking bad guys, and I've decided this time around to go for someone who isn't really my usual type and see if it works better. Time will tell, I guess. I've met a lovely enough guy, but the attraction wasn't instant, and I'm struggling to get past this. Any ideas on what I can do to get over it? Well, is that the thing though? Like when people say like I've gone for someone that isn't normally my type, is that personality wise or is that looks wise that they haven't really gone for?
I think it can work personality wise. I don't think necessarily looks wise. If you haven't got that spark there, I think it's extremely hard. I see it every year with Married at First Sight. Like, these people try to pursue like a relationship with someone that they're not physically attracted to. I think if you haven't got any physical spark there whatsoever, it's extremely difficult to try and manifest that out of nowhere. It's not like you can do it,
Yeah, because
but
people find like if you've got like a friend that you've never really considered attractive or anything like that, like the things they do then make them attracted to you, right? Like a lot of women find like if they see a man like with a kid and they interact really well and they can see that they're like would be a good father. Sometimes that's like
and that's a lot of the time
it's
like
kind of cool.
why funny guys can get like good looking girls and girls that naturally would be way above their pay grade as regards to like stature and fucking humanity. Um, I think if you're funny, it goes a long way. But I don't know. I think it's a good experiment. I would go into it thinking like this is I'm trying something different and make it apparent to the guy that look, you're not my usual type, but I'm trying to
No,
like.
no, 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 no.
No, I think
If
be
someone said that
honest.
to me, I just look at him and I'd be like, I'm not having a second date.
No,
If someone said I'm not your normal type, I'd be like, what am I then? Fucking chopped liver? Yeah, fucking what a fucking insult is
well,
that?
maybe not word it like that. You know what I mean, though. Be honest about your
Yeah,
intentions, innit? That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
like I wouldn't jump in saying, "Oh, I want to marry this guy." Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get that. But yeah, no, sometimes I think wording's a good. You're not my normal type. I hate that.
I've said that
I
so
hate
many
that so
times.
much.
I've said it a million times. They'll be like, "What's your normal type?" And I'll be like,
Not you.
"Not you."
I'm like, have you got a mirror? Don't look in it because you wouldn't like it.
That was a big not with Charlotte because I was with got with Charlotte thing, but the girl before Charlotte, she was blonde and I'd never been with a blonde girl before, and she had a big thing about that. She was really like weird about it, and I was just like, I should never have said that I'd
Yeah,
never been with a
exactly. There
blonde
you
girl
go.
before.
I mean, that's why I stopped you and I was like, "Do not say that." Yeah, I think trying different things is a good thing. Right? Like I did this, I did that where I was like, I was really fixated on what I wanted, and then when I loosened up and stuff like that, and like Sabina come along, and I was like, I'm gonna try to not focus on this and that. And then I was thinking the other day, I was like, in trying to not do that, she actually ticks everything I wanted without even. But because you're so like you're looking for those things, which you're not going to see when you first meet someone. You know what I mean? They're things that you like, you find, you discover, and you realize that they're actually doing stuff like that. Like I wanted someone that likes to go traveling, that someone that could drive, someone that has their own independence and stuff like that, and all these other lists of things that were. And I'm just like, oh, I found that. I wasn't looking for it, but opened up, and it came when I wanted it.
Yeah, and I think especially if you've got a tendency of picking a bad bunch, I
Hmm.
think what tends to happen is you're seeing properties in them people that doesn't necessarily reflect what you're looking for, but you're putting it into that. It's like putting a square key into a round hole. Do you know what I mean? Like you're kind of you're making that fit because you think it fits, but really it doesn't. And that person, say like the cliches bad boys, isn't it? Like a lot of girls like bad boys and all this shit. It's because they seem exciting to them, and they're not the run of the mill nice guy who would do things for them and all that shit. They will keep them on their toes and stuff. But then when they get with them, they want to change them into the nice guy that they were didn't want.
I never understood that. Yeah,
Yeah, and it happened all the time. I realised when I was younger and I treated girls like dickheads, it used to get me more girls
yeah, but
and
it would
used
never
to play on it.
last.
It never lasted because
No.
95% of the time it was a toxic relationship I was in. But and I was always going for the wrong person myself. So I think going for the change is a good thing, but don't go in head over heels thinking this is where all your eggs are now. They're all in that basket, and this geezer's like the savior of the day because he might not be the right fit, but at least you tried.
Yeah, like things like progress over time, right? He might do something romantic that just sort of switches that light on, and you're like, oh, I'm glad I gave it a try. But yeah, don't feel discouraged if he doesn't. You know, I mean, you just don't. Some people aren't compatible and stuff like that, but you might meet some nice people along the way, and that's what I always looked at it at. Like, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But at least I spent some time with someone, I got to know them, and blah blah blah.
I
Usual
have
bollocks.
a guy. He's Bangladesh background.
Hmm.
He's a close mate from years and years, but I haven't spoken to him in a few years. But years and years back, he's a good friend, and he only went for white girls because he was always like, he didn't want anything too close to home, and
Yeah,
he wanted to like change his. He didn't want it to become his mum and dad essentially, and then now he's married with kids to like a fucking Chinese girl. Do you know what I mean? So he's not gone full circle, but he's not with the person. He spent his life preaching to me how much he loved white girls and all this stuff, and that the white girls were the only thing that he would do. He ends up with some Chinese girl from China as well, so she's not even fucking like British. And when I saw him a few months ago, he was like the happiest he's ever been, and that was never ever going to be anyone on his radar until he went to university.
yeah, for sure. I realized this the other day when I was, because obviously everyone knows that I'm a 90 days connoisseur, and I like to let everyone in and some inside information, right? So if you're talking to your mates or your family or anything like that, and you say this phrase, end your relationship right now. So if you say to someone, I know in my heart, doesn't matter what anything else comes out. If you say, I know in my heart, blah, 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 your relationship's dead in the water. Because it means you're more invested than the other person, and everything's so toxic that you're not listening to reason. You know in your heart exactly what it sounds like, that this is going to work out, because your brain's telling you it's not. Every single person on 90 days, and there's a lot of them, that says that phrase is not together now.
Do you know 90 Days? Is there a show, is there a couple, sorry, where she meets some guy from like Guatemala or somewhere and he starts singing about chickens?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
English one. That's 90 Days UK.
Yeah, I thought
I
so.
love you, chicken.
Yeah,
They're really good, actually. He's a really nice guy.
he looks like fucking. Do you remember that wrestler that his name was like Chavo Cool or something?
They should have their own show. Like, he's in the UK and he speaks English better now, and they have a kid who has like a crazy lot of hair.
Well, I
I don't
bet,
know
because
how that
his
kid
dad's
has
got
got.
a
Yeah,
fucking bird bush on his head.
Jesus, the kid's got a lot of hair. But yeah, no, that really nice. Actually, did she say that phrase? I might have to go back and check. But yeah, that's the phrase that if you ever hear it, it's done.
And
It's done, right?
he kept getting her to pay for like music videos and stuff, and he was becoming a rapper or something.
In the new season, well, I say the new season, the last season 2, they're in it again. Obviously, she's got a son already. He's like 19 or 20. So he's
Yeah, I
basically
remember.
like,
Yeah, and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was cringe. Yeah,
So they're like, "Oh, can you film this music video for me?"
yeah,
And his mum's in this ridiculous outfit, and
twerking.
she's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Don't ever ask me to do that again." There's a guy on that's from Perth, and I've seen him quite a couple times, like wandering around in the first season. Yeah,
Wait, near where you live.
yeah, in Scotland, and yeah, so I've seen him quite a few times. He's a lot taller than I thought he was from the show, but yeah, so yeah, give it a chance. If you don't feel it after a couple of dates, then I mean, there's plenty of more nice guys out there. At least you gave it a try. But we know you're going to find someone. There's always someone out there for someone. If I can fucking find someone, there's hope for everyone else. That's all I can say about that.
Someone can find someone to put up with Dan's antics.
I was going to do a TikTok today because there's so many things I do that are so incredibly annoying. But Sabina and I we rewatch the same show over and over again.
Mm.
So at the minute, she's watching Charmed from the beginning.
What's Charmed? Is that the witches?
Yeah, the 3 witches.
Yeah.
And I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years because that was my era and her era. So I know bits of the show.
Yeah.
But she's been watching it for months, right? And every time I come in and she's watching it, I look at it and a bit of it flashes in my head and I go, "Oh, are they together yet?" And she's like, "No, not yet." And I'm like, "Has she had a baby yet?" "No, not yet." This has been going on for months. And they're like, I hear bits of it and they're like, "Oh, it's going to be a girl." And I'm like, "No, it's not. It's going to be a boy." And she's like, "I know that." And then last night I went in there and the woman's giving birth to it. And I'm like, "Is that the baby then?" She's like, "Yes, Dan, the baby is finally here." I'm just like, but I do loads of stuff. When she watches Greys, because I know the doctors that die, when I come in and I see them, I'm like, "We started that again then." When's he die again? That's the guy that dies by the bus crash, isn't it? Oh, doesn't that guy die? And I just do it all the time. And it must be so incredibly annoying for
My
her.
thing with Greys is, if you look at it, it's a bit like Walking Dead. If you look at the initial cast, just literally cross out probably about 98%, and because there's only 3 of them survived to the fucking final season.
There's one woman in it that every time I see her, I go to Sabina, is she not fucking dead yet? She's had cancer like 4 times and got over it. They just keep bringing her, like, just saving her life and then giving her cancer again. It's like, what kind of fucking
I think I know which one
woman
you were
is that?
talking about. The one that ends up,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's like the head of everything. She's like the mum of this other bloke and like married to the black. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know who
yeah,
she
yeah.
is, but she just every time I speak to Sabina, I'm like, is she still alive? And she's like, yeah, she's got cancer again. I'm like, where? Where have she got cancer now? Like, where is it possible? In her fingernails? Like, what else is left?
Mate, Greys was. I always used to think about Greys because obviously it's about a one character going through her whole life. And I always say to Charlotte when we used to watch it, I was like, she's had the most fucked up life going. Like, she's lost
COVID.
everyone. She's lost.
COVID was rough. Did you see that season?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that was a rough season. I saw a lot of that because Savina
She
was
was
watching
like
it. I'm
dying for
like,
most of that season.
yeah. I don't know what she was doing, but yeah, she weren't well
She
in
was
that
like in a
one.
coma, bruv.
It's like, fucking hell. I
Mate,
thought
I sound
COVID
like
in
such
real
a
life was
sack.
bad enough.
Talking about fucking Grey's Anatomy.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, so that's what I do. So anyone be thankful that I'm not yours and be sorry for Sabina. Hey dudes, I recently came into a life-changing amount of money and I'm considering buying myself a new car or put a deposit down on a house. I've been back and forth from country to country the past few years and I'm not sure if I want to settle in one place yet. Not sure what to do, guys. What do you think? If you haven't settled in one place, do you really want to buy a car either?
No. I would say if you're not keen on settling yet, don't spend the money to carry on travelling, or don't spend all of it. What I would do is put that to one side in some sort of savings account and just carry on how you're living, and then use
Yeah.
it as a nest egg for when you're finished. I think you're very lucky in the position you are. I
Yeah,
would
if you're being able to
fucking,
do it.
I wouldn't buy a car and let it rot on the fucking driveway while you're away doing whatever you want to do. I would
Unless
leave
it's
it.
like Americans, because a lot of people like sleep in their car, don't they? I don't know
Yeah,
how they do that. That's a very American thing to. I don't know anyone that has lost their house and lived in a car in the UK.
not personally. I do, but I do know that we've got slightly different rules. If we get caught doing it, the police can actually lock you up and shit. Where in
Oh,
America, it's a
really?
bit they just move you on.
Yeah, because people have had like they'll cook out of their boot and stuff like that. I've never seen anything like that in the UK, like to
There
that
was a
extent.
geezer that worked. I don't know, but way before my time, they figured out that he was living in the camper van in the car park of our work.
Oh, I'd love. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I would fucking love to be able to just come out of my lunch break and have a lay down in a fucking camper, then go back to work again. I was like, I wouldn't leave. I would just go out there and I'm home. 2 seconds. Thanks so
Mate, that would
much.
be so. I was thinking about it. For me, it would start off a brilliant idea, and then like you'd be seeing your bosses like when you're trying to fucking having a sleep on the afternoon or something. Oh, make me feel sick.
It'd be the same reason that I didn't want to get. Do you remember we were looking at the flat above the co-op where we were working,
Yeah.
and I was like, it's the same thing with that, right? Is that if anything happens, they know where you are to knock on your door and be like, "Can you come in?"
Mate, it
Because
was hard
we're
enough living in
short-staffed.
my parents' house when I was 5 minutes around the corner. I was expected to do every fucking call out in the middle of the night. The
Oh, you
amount of
were, yeah.
times,
At
the
Christmas
amount of
as well.
times I was in that fucking shop in like out of hours times.
Yeah, but
Christmas Day, I was in there.
yeah, no, I think this is a pretty easy one. Like, I agree with Jamie, right? Because if you've just come into it, I would safe to assume that you're not going to come into that amount of money again. And a house is way more important than a car, right? Like a car breaks and you end up getting rid of it and stuff like that. But once you finally
You
decide
can
where
get a
to
car on a
settle,
payment scheme if you need to.
yeah. If you're like doing what you're doing and you're not struggling and you got this money, I would keep it until you do decide to settle, and then you've got that nice deposit and you don't have to worry about struggling or anything like that. That would be what I
If
would
you're
do.
in the UK as well, I would advise not to buy at the minute. So I think that's another reason not to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Even with cars though, like cars have got to a point now where it's like I really wish I love my car. I love my Mondeo, but I really wish that I just got a fucking Polo or something that I could just run into the ground.
Although second-hand cars, if you were to sell that, your second-hand car would get you a lot of money. But at the same time, if you're not using it, it's not worth it. If I weren't driving every day to work, what much use would I have for a car? Or me and Shark would probably end up having just to share a car because I wouldn't need two vehicles if we're not working.
If I Sabina didn't have a flat and she had a house, or we moved into hers,
Hmm.
I would get rid of my car in a heartbeat, and I would get a fucking electric scooter, and I would just bust to work on an electric scooter.
What is it that close? Is it?
Well, it's in Perth, so if I was in Perth, I would just. There's no need to fucking. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, you can get a good fucking 30 miles an hour on one of those fucking things. I'll be busting to going straight up the fucking road. You know what I mean? Get myself a little light and a bell, put my fucking hazards on.
Mate, fucking
See
hell.
this high vis guy who just. Woo!
I'd be that one geezer that gets knocked off, and they'll ban electric scooters because of me, innit?
Yeah, in the morning I'd be like really reckless because I start at like 6, and then I'd be a bit like I finish work, I'll be a bit casual, but in the morning I would just be fucking like struck and gone.
Mate, in the mornings,
Couldn't
like
stop me.
I'm bad enough with a car. Yeah, I like literally. I'll walk down the stairs. This morning, I knew it was going to be frosty, but I didn't give a fuck in it. So,
Don't.
me and the dog was trundling outside. He's pissing. I knew it was going to be a bad day when I could see the steam coming from his piss. And then I was like, right, we're in for a fucking. This car's going to be frozen. And then when I walk up to my car automatically opens. So then it does the whole thing with the wind mirrors where it opens themselves,
Yeah.
and it just went like that, and I was like, bruv. So then I just sat in the car, and out of principle, because I've got a brand new car, I refuse to scrape. So I just sit in it with cold air blowing at me and blowing at Rocco, and he's like sitting next to me shivering, and I'm just like, I'll just move forward slightly so the engine kicks in, And then I'm sitting there, and I could just hear my neighbours like getting disgruntled because my car's just running outside, and I'm just thinking, "Fuck it, I'm not
I
fucking paying for. I'm not paying for this car, and it's not going to heat itself up."
So the Fords are amazing because they have heated front windows.
Yeah, we do as well. Well, now
Yeah.
we do.
So I got in the car the other day, fuck it, -4. Got in the car like the whole car's frosted. 2 seconds, I can see out the front window, but I can't see out my side windows.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like this morning.
Yeah. So I'm like, shit, I need to get to fucking work. So I just wheel them down. I'm going down the fucking road. Cold air's blowing in my face. Can't feel my fucking nose and my ears. But I can see. It's all right. Because there's no.
What I do is I do the windows down. This is how
Yeah.
this is how terrible I am as a human being. I put the windows down, and then I put my heated seats on and my heated steering wheel on. So then the entire car's heating up. And then as I'm driving along, I will slowly do the windows up, and then you can just see the ice melting off the sides. And you can see Rocco's fucking freezing in the car, and I'm thinking, it's all right. By the time we get round the corner, mate, it will be all warm in here.
No, I wait till I get to the straight, and then I put the windows up and put the blowers on the window.
Mm.
But I can't do that until I've got onto a straight road because I need to see where I'm turning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a good winner. But yeah, that's what I would say. Like, you can get some good like savings accounts thing. Like, if you're not planning on settling down for like a year,
Build your
you can get like
up.
interest on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do that. But like, it's really up to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's your future and stuff like that. And if you want a new car, get a new fucking car. They're pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I'd much rather have a house further down the line. Because what if you met someone and you want to settle down and stuff like that, and then you're like, well, I can get a good start because I can put down a deposit and stuff like that. That's what I would look at it. But enjoy your money. That's what I say. So glad the election talk is over. I turned off for a little while. Guys, thanks for keeping it light and acknowledging it and not taking politics anymore. Yeah, I've had enough of that, yeah.
It nearly happened, but luckily our mic's cut out. You nearly had
But that was more
madness.
that was more on the nuclear threat than anything else.
Yeah, true.
With Christmas coming up, I was wondering if the show has any plans in store for this coming month. No.
Typical two men no hope fashion.
And we got Brian coming back next week, which Jamie told me on holiday, which meant I didn't listen. So now I know. No, it's been a bit rough this year with everything really. Like mine and Jamie's mood as well towards everything. It's been rough. Like, not saying that the podcast ain't going nowhere. Like, the show is always going to be here. It's going to be every Friday. But it's like it's typical me and Jamie, right? Like, we're so excited to do it, and we love getting the emails, and that pushes us to do it, to carry on, which is great. But it also made us like overzealous, and we were just throwing time into it, like doing all the different extra stuff, doing all the content,
burnt ourselves out.
Yeah, and now it's got to the point where it's like, we did all that work, and where's the
payoff?
The payoff, yeah.
Not monetary, but payoff in general.
Yeah. So like, we're still in the fucking TikTok jail and stuff like that, and YouTube's complete and utter bust. There's something like 600 videos on there, and I think the most we've ever got on a video is like 2,000 views. So it's like, what we're doing at the minute is we're trying to like regroup. So not necessarily December, but more like January, we're going to come back and we're going to try and focus on the things that will improve the podcast. So like the content and social media, which is a massive thing that me and Jamie need to start forcing ourselves to do, because we're that age, right? We're like the bracket before social media. So it's not, I was saying to Sabine, like, when we go on holiday, I always eat my food and then I suddenly think, shit, I should have done a video on that, because it's not my first reaction to get my phone out.
No, or even like a picture or something. If Charlotte wasn't there, you wouldn't even know where I've been for the last fucking 3 years. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't exist. 19 to 22 doesn't exist. Like, I didn't live for 3 years. There's no footage of it whatsoever. Didn't exist. Couldn't find it anywhere. So yeah, so it's really got to like changing our mindset and sort of doing that. Like we want more guests and things like this, like just stuff to improve and to meet more people within the podcasting community.
Yeah, I think what was our thing with guests is a lot of the time they want more from us than we're actually getting from them. And I
Mm.
think we were having the regular guys on that we've had before because we like them and they've been back. But there's also been people that we've had on or people that we spoke to have on that I'm just like, I've got no drive to push to get them on because I'm like, what are they actually going to do for us? Nothing. They're trying to dictate, like, well, everyone knows about the fucking that
Was that
geezer, that
Nathan?
cult
Was it
leader.
Nathan?
Yeah, that fucking cult leader trying to
This is
fucking.
your last chance.
Yeah, I was like,
Is it?
mate, last chance. You're lucky we even fucking haven't reported you to the fucking FBI, mate. But yeah, I think it will come. It will come.
Yeah. I
I think we'll probably do like a work drinks episode. We said about doing that, where me and Dan will get a
yeah.
bit boozy on the podcast because we haven't done that in a long time.
No, we stopped drinking completely.
Yeah,
I think at the minute for me as well, I'm going through this whole thing with like the coaching and trying to get my stomach sorted, and I realized that there's a lot of like more mental health issues than I realized, and like I'm struggling with acknowledgement. If you know what I mean, like she keep like my coach and that keeps saying like, oh, you know, you're doing really well and stuff like that, and I realized that at 37, I have no idea how I'm supposed to feel when someone says well done. Like I don't feel anything. Like she says that I'm doing these things, and it's like she's reading a shopping list off to me, like it means nothing. So like I'm really struggling with like having like all this positive feedback from the podcast and all this sort of stuff, and it just doesn't.
it's like water's off a duck's back.
Yeah, so I'm like fixated on like why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? Without acknowledging like all the great stuff and all the positive things from the listeners and stuff like that. I think
Yeah,
that's what's really messing me up at the minute.
yeah, but definitely, I can understand that.
Yeah, so I think next year, obviously I've had a bit of a rough year with Sabina's family and stuff like that. So I think next year we're going to kick it off. We've got our merch already sitting there ready, which I want to sort of maybe push a bit more next year.
One thing I would say to the listeners, yeah, and this is a bit of tough love, yeah. As soon as we put any monetary value on anything, yeah, they're like, nah, it ain't happening. Nothing's going to be fucking thing. But the thing is, I've stressed this before when we've talked about merch or like sponsors, whatever. The little money we do get from it is going back into the podcast. We're not going to be sort of thinking, oh, I'm going to get a new coat this month because we've got loads of fucking money from our merch. That's not how things are going to run. If we were making loads of money, hand over fist, we'd be doing shit like that. But really, it's about growing. Whatever you put in is helping us grow, and that's how you should think about it. Not for I get that people are living on a budget, but if you want to help the podcast grow and you want to see it carry on, that's the kind of things we need. And it's advertisement as well. If someone's wearing a t-shirt in public, send us a picture of it.
Yeah, so to me, like when we did the pricing for the merch and stuff like that, we make like almost nothing on it because I would rather see someone wearing the brand. Like if you look at the pricing and stuff like that, like on a t-shirt, we make like £1.
Yeah,
Like that's
you're
it.
essentially getting it for the printing price, almost.
Yeah, like we made sure like the quality was good. That's why we used like a small company, right? Like so I could go in and we could be like hands on.
Yeah,
But we never force anything. Like it's there because people asked us for it, and we want to provide that for you. And we just love all the interaction, right? That's why we do it. That's why we keep doing. That's why it's almost what? How many years?
this will be the third year in March, I think.
3 years. Like me and Jamie have never done anything more than like a month. So it's fucking yeah. I mean, so it's a massive achievement for us to be keep going and still getting emails and you know what I mean. I still love every email we get.
And we still get, even 3 years later, nearly, I'm still surprised by some of the shit we get sent.
It's like fucking conversation starters, man. Like seriously, like some of this shit is fucking gold. So yeah, yeah, we were talking about like a Christmas party thing, but it probably more than likely be like Jim or someone we know is reliable that we can just get on and have a laugh with, not someone that we don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to get a couple of the old guests back that we had once that, would be great to come back, but I would still love to. I'm still on that hunt for like an English podcast,
Yeah.
but they're just English people are just arseholes, aren't they?
Well, I think in the UK, the podcast population is you're either a celebrity or you've got literally no following, and then the people with no following don't want to know because they want to just like people will just want to be interviewed, and we don't do the interview side of stuff. We have a little chat about what they're doing and let them plug their stuff, but other than that, that's not the premise of the show. And I think because we've got the rigid framework to the show, well, I wouldn't say rigid, but because we have a framework instead of just a back and forth interview, it's harder to get certain people on. Where I'm not really willing to change that either. I don't want to be There's a million interview podcasts.
Yeah, for
There's not
sure.
many where we're doing what we're doing.
No, like solely on the listeners. You know what I mean? But we'll get there. Like I said, it's all like next year. Hopefully, everything will go nice and smooth. Like I said, we've got a lot of things already in place, and just got to try and get that social media going. That's the thing that's killing us at the minute is the social media because we're just not. I've even reinstalled Threads, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
every time I can't get on Facebook, so like every time I do a video, it's like TikTok, Instagram, then I go onto YouTube, then I go onto Twitter, which I've gone back onto, and then now I have to go onto Threads, and it's just fucking just put on. And then yesterday, I put up a video and didn't think anything of it, and then I got a panic message from Jamie going, "Can you not put that up?" So I had to go back on all these things, delete them, which I accidentally deleted extra videos because I couldn't figure out what I was doing. Then I had to find a new one to then re-upload.
That is the fucking problem with a podcast, man. You forget what you say on things. And I was like, fuck, I forgot what I said. And then I was like, I spoke to my mum about it today, and she was like, "Yeah, you better be happy that wasn't up." And I was like, "Oh, yeah."
But it was so vague though. Like it was just it could have been anything. Yeah, I mean, it's
It
like
could have
a
been anything. Yeah, I think what ended up happening was if people knew the real situation, they would have clocked on instantly, and I would have been in trouble. That's what would have happened.
I still thought it was funny. I can't even remember
It
what I
definitely
swapped it
was
with.
funny. Yeah, I saw it. I was like, shit.
But yeah, we'll see if we can get something planned. I don't think there's going to be any presents between me and Jamie because money's been a lot of tight with having to like do emergency trips to like Prague and stuff like that. So I haven't really got emergency stuff, but we'll definitely because last year was good because I managed to come
Yeah,
down
we
and see
we
you.
put it all together that way, but that will happen
Yeah,
next year. We'll sort something out next year.
yeah, for sure. Hopefully that like Sabina will be moved in here and everything will be like straightforward and simple. I'm just all over the place at the minute. So just blame Dan. It's all right. Just blame Dan. Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate all of you more than you know. Prague is a beautiful place, and I found the same thing as you guys. The clock is nothing to be looked at, really. It was a letdown, but the cocktails and food's amazing. I went to the Black Angels too, and they do not like you taking photos, which we got caught and thrown out. I hadn't because obviously, like I said, we go to like outside of the town,
Yeah.
so I've never been to a place that's like because to me that's how you get people to come there, right? It's like you take pictures of the food, it looks good.
Yeah, there's a few places like that. Prague was like that, and when we was in Parma, there's a few places. I think if they've got like a reputation anyway, they don't want it, and like they're quite insistent when you sit down. But you think, fuck it, I'll take a few anyway. But if you get caught, you get caught.
When we were there, me and my friend took some chocolate edibles from the weed shop, and we went back to the room and spent 12 hours in a dream world. I would recommend that for you guys. The chocolate tasted good, and don't worry, Daniel, they do dairy free too. I was looking at they do vape pens.
Mm.
I said to Savina, I was like, oh man, we should have totally got one of them and just wandered around Prague with a vape pen.
If I wasn't getting drug tested, I'd have been straight in there. Straight in there.
Thank you for remembering that I can't have dairy. I appreciate that. But in my life, I had to end it with the kinky girl. She was making it too much of a worry when I came to sex. Hang on a minute, what's going on there?
There's been a few kinky girls lately.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I got quickly in a situation with a dominant girl, and it was good when it started, but it's taking things too far. I'm increasingly worried. But then she wanted to bring someone else in, and he was going to get. He's
I
worried he
wonder
was
if he
going to get.
actually had the freeway.
It doesn't sound like it.
No.
I'm with a girl now, and she was a breath. Sorry, my
Breast?
nose is like stopping my breathing, so I'm like struggling to. With a girl now, and she was a breath of fresh air at first, but now I'm worried she's too vanilla for me. I'm torn, guys. I don't want the kinky girl, and now I'm bored with the vanilla. What am I doing? Am I too picky, guys?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, you fucking are.
You can't once you've had extreme, you can't go back. It says that saying once you have black, you can't go back. That's you know what I mean. It's not happening.
Once you've had candle wax poured over your nipples, the,
Fuck no. I hate my nipples, man. I can't
there's
stand it.
there's no return. But no, you're definitely fucking way too picky, man. Don't get me wrong. Some people are very vanilla. Like there's no expiration in them at all. They just want to lay their missionary position like the Bible fucking put in.
I said that to you before, didn't I? I was with a girl that was like I just caught like a fish out of the fucking water. Like you're just laying on top of her and she's like jerking a little bit, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Is she all right? I'm just gonna finish and leave.
And people have their own things. People have their own kinks and stuff. But a lot of people are middle ground. So maybe
Mm,
you've just gone because you had such an extreme. You've gone for like a little quiet person that you thought would be the opposite, but it's too far the other way. So you kind of need to find someone that's just a bit more normal and don't think too much into it. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
I mean,
The sex isn't all of the relationship. You can change things in the sex.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like, just because it's vanilla now, like maybe you should try introducing some of the things you've learned from the other girl, like slowly, and then
Don't
maybe
turn
she
up in a
like
gimp suit or something.
she walks in and you're like tied up with like whipped cream over your nipples or something. Yeah. Um. Yeah, because like some people haven't done a lot, right? Like maybe they were with someone that was like that, so maybe they need to be shown a few things. And saying to that, you know, remember I said to that the swinger guy, I was like, "Oh, love, honey, you've got a calendar,
Yeah.
200 and something pound." The motherfucker is.
No.
Yeah, because you get a toy every day, like a proper
Proper
toy.
toy.
Yeah. I don't know if
I
it's
suppose it's worth the
12 days or
investment.
the full, but yeah, I was like, fuck. I'm not paying that.
I'll be like, that is your Christmas present.
Or what? Because it's so fucking. Oh, it's because it's so expensive. Oh no! Wait, tell a lie. This one here says £100.
That's a bit more
They've got
reasonable.
different. They've got
Tears.
different. Like yeah, but there's another one. A Morna 24-day premium couples £300. Love honey. Let's have a look. Here you go. Yeah, £300 for 24 days.
Price the bike.
Fucking hell! You get dildos and butt plugs, and I think my eyes are gonna bleed. Like if you go from like a massive dildo and then the next day you get a fucking blindfold, I'll be well annoyed. Is that? I think that's a fleshlight there. A paddle. Fucking hell, there's loads of shit. What is that? Nipple clamps.
Some people
Bullet.
into some weird shit, man, because like one of the people that I know, they have a friend and their friend has a kidnap fucking kink and
Yeah.
they've paid people. They've gone into London and paid people to kidnap them
Fucking hell.
and they've been like had like loads of sexual shit done to them and stuff and all this kind of weird shit has happened and there's like safe words involved and then they're just dropped off like back where they were fucking picked up from.
Thanks. See you later.
And then like this person I was talking to was like, please message me where you are at the time. Like message me where you're getting picked up from and dropped off so I know that you're fucking alive, because obviously it sounds dodgy as fuck, innit?
It's
I was
dodgy
like,
as
surely
fuck.
that's not legal.
I knew this girl at one point that like had like rape fantasy,
Oh no, that's
and
fucking
I
weird.
didn't get involved with that because I was like, I can't do it. Like I'm too like I overthink everything. That's my entire life, right? Overthinking something. It's like even though she's told me that
That's
like
her
no's
thing.
still a no. Like I'm not that sort of guy where if you say no, I'm gonna be like yes. What's that James Bond thing from Family Guy? 16 no's and a yes is still a yes.
But I do get that, because I kind of feel vanilla sometimes. You know, like when you're watching like a film and they're really going for it, and then like they're really talking to each other. Like I'm not a big person for dirty talk, and I think it's really cringy. Yeah, I don't know whether it's a British thing, because we don't really talk about things. Yeah, but I'll be watching a film and they're like, oh yeah, you fucking want to date it? She's like, yeah, daddy, yeah, and all this shit, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, bruv. Like I would be dead silent. All you would be hearing is like fucking breathing, and that's it.
That is all you get from me. I don't make. I've had so many complaints that I don't make a noise. Like I just fucking no, I can't do it.
And
It's
if they
so
started
fucking weird.
talking, I have had like drunken sex, and they've been talking to me, and I just don't fucking say nothing. I don't say a
Yeah,
fucking
no,
word.
like no, I can't do it. That even when they're like, "Are you enjoying that?" You just go, "Mm-hmm." Like, mm-hmm. Like I'm not even
Shut
opening
your
my
fucking
mouth right
mouth.
now. Yeah. It's like if I wasn't enjoying it, I wouldn't be hard right now. So that should, yeah, I mean, you don't need to ask. I forgot what the fucking email was now. Oh yeah, vanilla. Yeah, I would just try new things with her and see if she enjoys them, and take it from there. But you're definitely picky. I know there is definitely when it gets kinky, it can go to like extremes, which I would get frightened at as well.
Yeah,
As I just looked at that Love Honey fucking calendar. But yeah, just experiment, have some fun.
yeah, and don't think too deeply into it, man. It's not like fucking full blown. Like you need to be putting all them eggs in one basket. Like think about it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I talked to her about it as well. Like, don't say that she's terrible or vanilla or something like that. Just be like, oh, would you be interested in doing this or
Just be like, have you heard of anything other than missionary? I can't even say the word.
missionary? Or like, what's the reverse cowgirl, whatever it is, where they sit
Yeah,
on top of you but the other way around? That's a good one.
that's always a good one
That's
for a guy.
that's one of the ones I call the finishing move.
Finish it.
Yeah, because I'm like, if you're gonna do that, we ain't carrying on because I'm done. I'm cashing out. It's fucking over. Another one of the finishing moves is the one where they like squat down and they're just like bouncing up and down.
Mm.
I don't know what that one's called. I just call it the squat move, but that's another finisher. If you pull that one out, it's done. We're over.
Sabrina's like writing this down on a fucking notepad as she listens to this.
She knows her finishing moves, Jamie. She doesn't need to write them down. I know when I'm in trouble.
I went out with a girl once that fucking refused to ever get on top, and I was just like, this will not last very long.
No, yeah, fuck that. I know obviously some girls are like that, but like you have to. No, you
There
couldn't
has to be
just be
give
on
and
top all
take,
the time.
Dan. There has to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
fucking give and take.
no, because it feels different. Like there's a different angle and stuff like that. Like when they're
Oh
on top.
yeah, definitely,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
Enjoy yourself, mate. We love hearing from you. I have a problem, guys. I was on Tinder date last night and it was going great and we ended up back at their house. We were about to get going into it and I started vomiting all over the place.
Ugh.
I had obviously had too much to drink. I ended up at the end of their bed with a bucket and couldn't move while I watched them clean their lovely flat with cream carpet.
Ugh.
When I felt well enough, I got an Uber and left with my tail tucked between my legs. It was truly the worst first experience I've ever given someone, and I really liked them on the Tinder date. And I've messaged since. What I think is a cheeky joke about it was left unread. Have I truly fucked it?
I think the trying to make a cheeky joke about it was a little bit of a faux pas. I think maybe started with
Faux
a
pas. I haven't
sincere
heard that in
apology.
ages.
A sincere apology might have followed by maybe a cheeky joke would have been a suffice. But fuck me, man.
So I'm
Faux
fixated
pas.
now. I can't unhear it. I would have. I wouldn't even have sent him. I would have been like, That's done. I'm not fucking going back there again. That's fucking." But
Oh,
I
mate,
said
I
to
would have created a new profile.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure,
I
yeah,
would have gone
changing your
nuclear.
photos and everything.
Yeah.
I said to Jamie when we got this email, I was like, I feel like a man would be a little bit more forgiving
Yeah.
with a woman.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not like a sexist thing or anything like that. I think that's more of I don't know. I don't know what I know in my heart that I'm sure like maybe we just need him more. I don't know.
I think there's certain people, especially that are like more caregiving,
Yeah,
like and willing to look after people, especially in drunken situations. I am like, as a general, I think most guys would thing look after him at that point. But if I was living alone and I had cream carpets, the last thing I'd be doing is texting them back if they've been sick once on the night out. I think I would be like, right, it went a bit far. It is what it is. On to the next one. I wouldn't be thinking too much into it. I would probably ghost myself. So I would say, like, these things happen. Take the L and just know. Unless there's something miraculous happens over the next couple of days and we get an email, I'm just going to assume that this person's not interested anymore. You might have been one of many people they were dating, and this is just enough to have checked you off the list.
make him feel a bit better about himself.
I'm just being real
Don't worry,
about it.
there's many more. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no. I'm just trying to get round my head why I think that a guy would be a little bit more. I don't know. I think because I've been there so much, I think myself like if you've gone out for a few drinks, you've had too many, and you get sick. It's like
Definitely
not
depends on age
completely.
as well.
Yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah, I think if like I was like fresh out the boat and I was like my first couple of dates, and then like I just get home and this woman's like vomiting everywhere like a fucking exorcist. I'd be like shit. Like, but I think now if that happened, I'd be a little bit more like I wouldn't even send them home. I'd be like, look, you're not probably all right to travel. Like if I had a spare room, or even just give them my bed and be like, just stay here and then go in the morning.
I remember I wasn't dating this girl, but we were all like hanging out. Like in my mate had like a in Lucy Farm, he had like a house share,
Yeah.
and we all used to go around there on a Friday and fucking really we used to wreck that house. It was quite bad, but we'd had like there was like four girls. It was my mate's girlfriend and her three mates, and then there'd be four of us, and we all sat on this bed, this wooden bed the whole time, double bed, and as you can imagine, after a while that broke. Um, and I remember one time we all got really smashed because we nicked loads of beers from fucking the local supermarket and was drinking underage. Was we underage? We might have just been over 18, but it don't matter. And I remember laying there, and this girl was laying on the like floor next to me, and we were like sharing a pillow, and she like literally got sick onto the pillow.
Oh,
And she was like, we didn't really have anything going on between us, but it was like kind of flirting up to that point. And she got sick onto the pillow. And then when I woke up, you know what I'm like, Dan, when I'm around anyone that's been sick, I instantly got sick on her.
fucking hell. That's not
So
going
then
nowhere now.
my mate Jamie was just like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, and I just got up and I ran towards the bathroom and I didn't make it. I just got sick down the fucking wall as well. And then like, lo and behold, that was the last time that girl ever came to that fucking flat.
Jesus fuck, man.
And then I spent a long time fucking apologising and trying to get my fucking friendship back on track because obviously he was so pissed off at me for it all. But it happens. But because we were young, if that happened now, I'm fucking 33 years old. Like, you just clean it, get rid of it, and it's not talked about in the morning. You just fucking dealt with it.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah,
because we
yeah.
were so young, that went on for fucking months. So I had to be like apologetic and, well, do you remember when you fucking got sick on the fucking floor and all this stuff? And I was like, all right, man. Like, look, this girl got sick on my pillow. Like, it's not like it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I was a
And
fucking
I was never a sicky drunk either, so that was a very embarrassing moment for me as well. And I just remember fucking having anxiety over it for fucking months.
Man, fucking, I was a crier. Like I was a wreck crier when I was fucking younger. Like
I remember
like
you crying at a barbecue once.
when we used to go out, they'd be like, "Oh, is Dan gonna cry tonight?" It's because I was like so angry all the time that when I was drunk is when it would all come out. So like, there was like stages. So I get there and I'd be like a dick to everyone because I was so aggressively miserable, getting more and more drink. And then as I get like 3 or 4 drinks in, I'm like, wow, I fucking love all of you guys. I'm really nice and friendly, and you wouldn't even know I was Dan. And then I have a few more, and I'll be like, oh, I want to fuck everything. Have a couple more, I'd pass out, and then someone would wake me up because I'm like laying on the floor or like I'm in the garden or something like that. And then as soon as I wake up, I start fucking crying because I'm like, so I remember being at this party and there was like this massive fucking pool, and they're like, oh, everyone just put your drinks in there. So I'm like, drinks pool, I'm not fucking moving. Blottoed by like fucking 10 o'clock, laying in the bushes. And then my mate wakes me up and he's like, we've called your mum to come get you. I can still remember it now. And I was like, why have you called my mum? I'm just fucking bored, like running around this fucking party, like off my nut. I'm like, why'd you call my mum? She's gonna think I'm a fucking wreck. And they're like trying to calm me down, and I'm fucking running around this party. And then one of the girls came back with me and put me to bed, and I'm like, don't go. And I remember my mum, I'm like wrecked. I can still remember him being like, he's fine, just leave him. Puts a bucket next to me. I still slept with 3 different people in that party, and they saw how much of a mess I was at that fucking party. Like, not at the same time, but I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just a fucking crier, man. Like, I was so bent up that when I got to a certain point, it all just flooded.
I've always, when I've been a drunk, has managed to get myself directly in the middle of any drama that happens. I always find a way. If I'm not in it, I'm
I
fully
love that.
involved in
The
the
serious
drama.
the serious drunk talk when you're fucking
Yeah.
hammered. I love it. I haven't had that in ages. That's when you fully let it all out. That's probably why I cried so much. I used to love them talks.
Me and you can do it when we have them sofa times when we're getting fucking langered on whiskey or whatever. We'll
Well, this is
sit
where
there
the
and discuss
podcasts
the
come
world.
from.
Yeah, this is the birth of the podcast, but basically,
Yeah. I still remember that day like yesterday. I'm sitting there, like my eyes are like closing, and you just had a cigarette, and you just come in. You're like, "Why don't me and you do a podcast, Dan?" And I'm like, "What?" And you're like, "No, it's really good. We should do a podcast together." And I'm like, "Why would anyone fucking listen to us on a podcast? I mean, we're funny, but what have we got to say?" And then there he goes. Here it is.
the birth of the idea.
Yeah, yeah, there it comes. It took a little while after that, but it definitely came. But what was the email about?
Being sick in someone's house on a Tinder date.
Being sick in someone's house. It's definitely like it's just a funny story now, man. Like I would bank that.
It's an antidote to tell at a party.
Yeah, yeah, I would bank that. But I mean, it's strange enough as well. Could you remember the email we had about the guy taking a shit and then what was it? And then he like married her. But he shit himself. I can't remember what the story
Yeah, he
was.
shat himself during their first one night stand
Was
together.
that it?
Yeah,
And then he's like, "Oh, now we're married." So I mean,
sometimes it pays off.
yeah, that's what you know what I mean. You never know. But yeah, this one's definitely not a. I think if it was hard flooring and not cream carpet, you probably would have got messaged back. Yeah, yeah. But
It's the scrubbing.
hopefully,
The
yeah,
more scrubbing that happened, the worse your chances were.
nothing sobers you up quicker. Hopefully, you laughed at mine and Jamie's embarrassing stories when we were younger. It's safe to say I haven't cried in a very long time, with drink or without drink. It's you know what I mean. So we're all good. Oh, those are the days. But that's it, man. That's all we got today.
Right. So on that note, send in your feedback, questions, and content ideas for the show into twomennnohope@gmail.com. And remember, we've got Essence Vault and a merch store running. I've got my little Essence Vault thing here. This is the oud wood, and it's banging. It's banging. I get asked every day I wear that. What am I wearing?
Really?
When I tell them it's a Essence Vault thing, they say, "Oh, does it last all day?" Yes, it does, because I've only used that much out of it, and it's lasted like weeks,
Yeah,
weeks at
Sabina's
a time.
always got them around the house.
Yeah, they're brilliant. So yeah, I'm practicing what I preach. But anyway, I'll see you on the next one, Dan.
Yeah, man, because the next one's going to be Brian. Bran. Sound like Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi. No, I can't do that. Bran.
See ya.